Welcome everybody. It's 6 o'clock on the 24th of April 2025. This is the regular meeting for April, and I would ask, as we call the meeting to order, I would ask that everybody present and those at home that are watching, would you please stand, and at home find the flag, and please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Recording in progress.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. All right, if you would raise or stand again as we honor the sisters and brothers who fallen the last month.
Thanks everybody. Since last month when we read the names, we have lost 12 more of our brothers and sisters. We'll read their names. On February 27th, Lori Ann Bolkus, 56 years old, of a medical emergency, a stroke, from Warrens, Wisconsin. On March 24th, Daniel Donahoe, 42 years old, a medical emergency, from Boston, Massachusetts. On March 26th, Kendall Geis, 36 years old, from occupational cancer, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. On March 27th, Raymond Vargas Jr., 42 years old, of occupational cancer, Baltimore County, Maryland. On March 31st, Peter Bendinelli, 48 years old, occupational cancer, Calumet City, Illinois. Also on March 31st, Barry Mayhem Jr., 50 years old, occupational cancer, Fairfax County, Virginia. On April 2nd, Gary Glenn Moore, 56 years old, of unknown causes. He was found unresponsive on the scene of a tornado disaster, Whitewater, Missouri. April 4th, Chevy Gall, 16 years old, of an MBA while responding to an incident in Beaufort, Missouri. April 5th, Roy A. Smith, 60 years old, also an MBA while responding to an incident in Staunton, Indiana. April 14th, John Robinson, 53 years old, unknown causes. He was found unresponsive at the station, Lafayette, Indiana. April 19th, Paul Charles Mikulik, 43 years old. He was killed on an incident scene. He was hit by a motor vehicle driving along the highway while he was on the scene of another MVA. West Salem, Ohio. And April 23rd, just yesterday, David Meyer, a Chicago firefighter, 54 years old, was killed on the fire ground during a structural collapse when a beam fell on him and killed him.
Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. All right. Just a roll call of officers. I know that Director Baker is not going to be here. And we'll be able to get Director DeBaney on. You see her?
No.
Okay, she said that she was going to be having problems, or there was a possibility that she wouldn't be able to make it. In attendance, we have Treasurer Wood and Treasurer Wood and Director Newsom. So, welcome everybody. Let the record show that we do have a quorum. To my present board members, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? I have none. Okay. With that, we'll move forward to our public comment period. We'll dive right into it. Chief? Excellent. Dr. Whitehead, you're up.
Sharon?
Or if somebody could timekeeper could give me a call about 30 seconds.
30 seconds is.
Good evening. Something enormously wrong is about to happen to the approximately 17,000 persons in the Elk Creek Fire Protection District if we do not act to stop unification. 4 Elk Creek board members voted to join the Conifer Fire Department, formerly North Fork and Inter Canyon Fire. A matter of this importance cries out to be put on to the 11,000 electors of the district via a mail-out paper ballot. This 4-to-1 vote is all the more troubling because in November 23 election, Elk Creek Fire voters rejected a consolidation issue where the end result was exactly the same as to be accomplished by unification. Contrary to claims of others, the November 2023 election was not stolen by voter confusion or voters against the mill levy increase associated with consolidation. Voters on another ballot issue approved a tax increase of 2.5 mils for Elk Creek Fire by a yes vote of 60%. This margin of passage is what some call a landslide. Overall, the voters were very sophisticated and recognized a joining of the 3 districts was not in the best interest of Elk Creek Fire. The board's action using another statute called exclusion, informally called unification, at the urging of the fire chief can only be interpreted as an end run around the will of the people. Will democracy be denied in the May 6th election or an appeal now moving to the arena of the First Judicial District Court? Unification is essentially a wealth redistribution scheme and is a good deal for residents of the former North Fork and Inter Canyon districts, but not for Elk Creek Fire residents who will see their mill levy dollars flow out to build up the other 2 districts with a decline in our services, especially in the first 5 years if the merger happens. The only concrete item, at least released to the voters, if unification happens, is hiring 6 full-time firefighter medics working under a union contract and rotating shifts of 2 at Inter Canyon Station 1. It is our belief that the residents of Inter Canyon should have funded this themselves. But no, if unification happens,
30 seconds.
Inter Canyon has found a way to have the residents of Elk Creek Fire pay the lion's share of these hires. Save Elk Creek Fire.
You know, Neil, I listened to you 7 years. I had a great deal of respect for you when you fought for Elk Creek Fire, but I'm saddened to hear the untruths and the blatant lies that you put in your rhetoric. I appreciate your efforts, but I don't believe anything that you say. Thank you for your opinion. Next, we'll call on Mr. Koch.
When you're ready, Mr. Koch, so I can start.
Can't do this without the specs. Here we go.
I understand
Ready. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to address the Elk Creek Fire Protection District Board of Directors. My name is Luke Koch. I reside in the Wobbly Valley area of Elk Creek, and I'm a 3rd-generation firefighter and volunteer member of this Fire Protection District. However, I speak here, as always, as a private citizen informed by my years of fire and other emergency service. Per core requests, first, the updated newbie legal cost tally. In the past 27 months, Elk Creek taxpayers have spent $39,025.32 on legal fees directly attributable to this director, now amounting to about 55% of Elk Creek's total legal budget during this period. Second, the updated obstruction of unification by newbie and Whitehead tally. It has surpassed $23,000 in legal and election costs, already paid by us taxpayers. The estimated total cost to taxpayers by this time next year of Newby and Whitehead get their way has risen to $720,000, most of this through lost service contracts with Conifer Fire Protection District and higher property taxes by virtue of Elk Creek not being part of Conifer Fire Protection District. These are colossal and unproductive wastes of taxpayer funds. Now to switch gears. As a private citizen, I've administered a formal survey of my fellow Elk Creek Fire Protection District members who are responding as private citizens. The topics of inquiry are again unification and the upcoming election of directors, one forced by the legal actions and associated foot dragging by Newby and Whitehead. These results are preliminary, but come from 70% of current emergency responders, both career and volunteer, who have in total over 328 years of emergency response service. Here are the key findings so far. Without exception, these emergency responders who answered the survey support Al Leo and Kathleen Newman for directors of Elk Creek Fire Protection District, in large measure because of their support of unification. Secondly, if unification fails to occur within the next year, about 50% of current members, are less likely to remain with Elk Creek Fire Protection District, and most of these are fellow volunteers. So we're expecting departed career folks to be backfilled by volunteers. You got a big hole to fill. The continued thwarting of unification is being done at the risk of gutting this fire protection district. If this comes to pass, the services provided to this community likely would suffer. Sadly, those here present, notably Messrs. Newby and Whitehead, have the capacity to end this mayhem they have created with respect to unification. I urge them to drop their legal cases so the people we serve can move forward and we can stop bleeding money, unproductively defending ourselves from your legal actions against our community's safety and best interests. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Koch. That'll lead us to a review of and approval of the minutes from March.
I move to approve the minutes from March.
Okay, we have a motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. And that leads us into financial matters.
I agree.
Are we
Bethany's over there. Okay, Bethany, just the next slide's fine.
Next slide.
Next slide. So I presented this last month, but I want to just everybody keep in mind that the full year forecast for revenue, $7,533,076, expenses, $7,443,742, with a net revenue reimbursement of $89,234. Next slide. I'm going to dig more into detail behind these numbers. The biggest revenue number that we have is, of course, property taxes, but this is the slide for total revenue. Total revenue for 2025 is at $2,146,544. Year-to-date property taxes are $1,656,757 of that number, so that's a considerable chunk of that number. Ownership taxes are at about $81,000. Interest income is still pretty good at about $76,000. Year-to-date ambulance reimbursement is like at $66,000. Grants are at $198,000. That includes $173,000 mitigation grant. It is a pass-through, so we don't get to keep it. It is offset by the amount that it costs us to actually pass that through and validate it. Fire reimbursement for Conifer Fire is about $44,000. The forecast is made up a lot of SURF, and SURF forecast is $1,544,356 of that, $2,006,000. So considerable amount. Next slide. Next slide is just digging down into property taxes. I'm sorry, no, this is total expenses. My bad. So year-to-date expenses are $1,637,771. March is technically 25% of the year. That's a little more than 25% of year-to-date expenses. Election expenses have contributed to these, something that was originally not thought to be an issue. Workman's comp and liability insurance are a big bulk of that number because they came in much higher than anticipated. Additional amounts for electricity and natural gas are also bringing that amount up. Next slide. Year-to-date net income forecast Full year is 7,533,076. We saw that on a previous slide. Total expenses we talked about is currently it's going to be 7,443,742, and currently net income is at 508,773. It's a little below what we anticipated in the month year-to-date amount in the month of March. So we will see what happens going forward. We've gotten in the bulk of our property taxes for this year, so we'll see. Next slide, property tax revenue. It's about 61% of our total revenue budget. Year-to-date property taxes forecasted to be $4,572,220. Again, 61% of the revenue forecast. Property taxes in 2024 were $4,972,697. So we're basically forecasting a reduction in property taxes for 2025 versus 2024. You're looking at crazy. In February, we had delinquent taxes, which are part of this year-to-date number. The actual year-to-date property taxes are $1,656,757. Again, that's a little bit below what we anticipated at this time in 2025. Next slide. I have two slides about labor. The first one is year-to-date labor for 2025 without SURF labor, because we are reimbursed for SURF labor. So I have that on a separate slide. The reimbursement for SURF goes into revenues, not expenses. So there's separate items on the income statement. So labor is our biggest expense, about 62%. Labor net of SURF is forecasted to be $3,528,302. Current labor is at $960,707. Year-to-date forecast is at $766. So again, labor is a little bit higher than anticipated for year-to-date March. Fire service, emergency services, and prevention are probably the bulk of the departments that were a little bit over. Next slide. SURF labor, we'll look at it, but again, we do get reimbursed for it. The forecast for SURF is $1,060,763. Actual to date is a small number because we haven't really entered the quote fire season yet. So actuals are at $15,497. That's actually some timesheets that were turned in 2025 for 2024 fires that were in December, I believe it was December of 2024. So we recognize expenses when they come in. So these are kind of 2024, but they belong in 2025 because that's when they were incurred. We forecasted 0 for March because normally we don't have expenses in SURF. March, they didn't start ramping up until about May, June, and then July, August, September. You can see by the forecast, they really ramp up and culminate in December at the highest amount. Next slide. Okay, we're still tracking 2024 fires reimbursement of the SURF from the state. The top number, which is the $2,139,307, that's the amount that has been submitted to the state for reimbursement. We have received $1,522,387. It's about $140,000 higher than we have received in the month, year-to-date, in the month of February. So it's starting to trickle in a little bit. There's still about $761,000 yet to be reimbursed. We expect to get 100% of that because in years past we have always received 100% reimbursement for SURF expenses. Out-of-district fires, they're the same as I reported last month, which is 52 fires and one time we helped out in North Carolina with flooding from the hurricane. So we will at some point start seeing fires in 2025, but again, probably not. Cross our fingers for a while. Last slide. As of March 31st, 2025, the actual monthly expenses recorded in the Sage financial ledger, this is the number in your board packet, $403,548. I make a motion to approve the monthly to date Sage financial ledger expenses for March of 2025 of $403,548.
Would you second
Yeah,
that?
motion to approve the Sage Financial Register record of,
You don't have to say it, you're seconded.
Yeah, we have a motion.
I'm making the motion.
Oh, already, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I already made a motion. Go
Did you
ahead.
make the motion?
Yes, I did.
She's making the motion. so
Okay,
we're just-
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor to approve the Sage
Wait,
Financial?
discussion first.
Sure.
Any discussion?
I just had a couple of questions
Sure.
about, does anybody know who Matthew Berlin is and what we paid Matthew Berlin for, Steve Drucker, Tom Pinder, John Surfling, and Rebecca Christopher Rosenborough?
Yeah, those are the mitigation grants that we do through the co-op grant, the reimbursement
On their,
for.
on their property?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
That's the pass-through money, so we give the money and then we get reimbursed by the county.
Is there any way we could put a column in there that said what these checks went out for? I mean, some of them are pretty obvious, right? Christopher Dodge, I mean, that's pretty obvious. But when I see like, you know,
Yeah.
just people, not companies,
Yeah.
it makes me nervous.
We can,
I'm sure we can.
Chief, I'll take it upon myself to ask Barbara if she can include like the memo
Yeah,
part of the check.
Yep.
I think that would answer your question
yeah,
possibly.
of course.
Unless you wanted to go through all the invoices and see all that.
Say it.
I was going to ask Barbara if she could include the memo portion
Yes,
of the check.
yes,
Would that be
exactly,
sufficient?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
we'll try that, but I'm not sure it's gonna give you exactly what you want without looking at the invoice. So this is just a suggestion, is pick some out. You can actually pull the documentation so you can look at the invoices, if that would work.
Well, if there's a way, I mean, an easy way to just put the
Well, the memo part of the check,
memo part, I don't know.
it really just lists the invoices, so if it's 4 invoices that were presented, it'll list, $10, $50, $40. It doesn't really say exactly what it's for.
Well, let's see if we can do it.
Okay, I'll see what we can do. I will take that on myself.
That's all I have.
Okay,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
And then we will call for a vote on the motion to approve the Sage Financial Ledger of $403,548. All in favor? Motion carries.
Okay.
All right, that will lead us to the chief's report.
All right. After a slow start to the year, Elk Creek firefighters were busy in March. Had a handful of fires. We also got our annual wildfire refresher training done and some other classes completed for the 2025 fire season. We did go ahead and get that truck purchased. We talked about, I think 2 months ago, truck and trailer. Truck's to replace a 2003 model. It's a tow utility vehicle and the trailer is a heavier model than our current one. We use it for equipment, to move around equipment. We're also able to use the purchase price of a match on a grant for another chipper. Fire season has come to the Front Range. We've had several wind event fires and across the West. Resources starting to move around the country. And with the uncertain future of our federal partner, it's really posing a lot of questions as to how the 2025 fire season will look. We continue to provide assistance to other districts during large-scale fire events, as well as accept assistance when incidents exceed our capabilities. We're continuing to pursue unification with Conifer Fire Department. It's still the most sustainable path for the future of Elk Creek in our area. The legal challenges continue to be brought up. The appeal hearing with the Jefferson County Board of County Commissioners, they voted unanimously to uphold the exclusion order. We are currently in the appeal window, and the individuals have vowed to appeal that decision. Moving forward, pretty much nothing really out of the ordinary. We had this number's a bit low, only due to reporting errors and things weren't put into our record management software. So 49 hours, that's what's in our software. It was about 160 hours, but at the time it wasn't in there. Still averaging 3 members per call, overlapping calls 17%. Average response time about the same. Again, 123 runs. We did have 5 fires. Mutual aid. We had mutual aid given to us 5 times, and we gave it 4 times. Transports were up 46. We had 369 hours of training. All of our pack tests will be done by the end of the month. We also hosted a 131 advanced wildland firefighter training and 211 portable pumps and water use. We had students from Conifer Fire Department, the U.S. Forest Service, and West Metro. Thanks to the Conifer Wildland Division for putting class together. Fire prevention, 5 inspections, 26 letters, plan reviews, and insurance requests. Those are increasing almost daily, and they're getting a lot more interesting. We just had another one several days ago to ask if we would approve a road to a residence and say that we could get to it during any weather or fire behavior, which of course we can't do. And unfortunately, I think the insurance company actually canceled the property after we wouldn't approve the road. So again, they're trying to put a lot of liability on us to say these things. And I think that's just going to continue to get more odd. Fire Marshal Rush taught the 2024 International Fire Code updates at the Colorado chapter of the International Code Council. One of the structure fires was actually caused by a heat lamp left for an animal on a desk. The state WUBI code is continuing to be something. They actually ended up kicking the can down the road till fall, so we are not going to have to figure that out quite yet. We're still working with our partners at the county on what we're going to do with that. That continues to be a challenge. Fleet facilities, we had a bunch of mechanical issues. We were plagued with mechanical issues actually, including some major repairs on an engine and 2 ambulances. Light rescue still out for repairs. It should be back on Monday. And Station 3 has a continuing roof leak that should be addressed in the next few weeks.
Any questions for Chief Ware?
Didn't we just buy a new truck for the wildland division?
Yes, this truck is more of a utility truck. It's
Okay.
not dedicated strictly to the wildland division. It's that tow utility. The white one out here, the older one, that's the one it's replacing.
Because I thought I signed a check for the chassis.
Oh, that's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one I was talking about. We
Okay,
actually,
just wanted to make sure.
we're going to take delivery of it next week.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
just wondering to
Yep,
make
that's
sure
it.
I was on the same page.
Nope, just one. And we should, again, take delivery of it next week, I think.
Okay, because that hasn't hit our books yet. Not in March.
Yeah, and it may be, I don't know if they're going to wait to cash it till they actually deliver the vehicle. I don't know.
Exactly. You shouldn't pay for it until they deliver
Yeah.
it. Just saying.
No.
All right, that leaves us to old business. I don't have anything pending. Yeah, am I missing anything?
Okay.
Perfect, and we'll move into new business. There was no new business that was brought forth before the board or through Barb. So that'll actually lead us into the end of our meeting, unless you have anything else, Chief?
I think actually, do you want to go? Sure. We do have a couple things, since this may be
I'm
your,
gonna take a point of personal privilege.
I was going to say, if I can do that as well, if we could do that.
Okay. We'll move into, well, we can move into point of personal privilege. So Chief, you want to start or you want me to start?
Did you have something?
I'll start.
Okay.
Thanks. So I'm currently speaking on behalf of the local 4710 as our president. I also feel confident that I can speak on behalf of all the firefighters here, including all the volunteer firefighters and the staff firefighters. So we wanted to take a moment this evening to honor somebody who has left a lasting impact on this fire department, on our firefighters, on our union, and on our community. And that is President Greg Pixley. Greg has served on the Elk Creek Fire Protection Board of Directors for the past 7 years. And throughout that time, he has been an unwavering advocate for the progress of this department, the safety of the community, and the health and wellness of all Elk Creek firefighters. As the board president, Greg helped guide us through times of improvement and growth, this entire fire department, all of the firefighters, and not just in numbers, but in strength, in professionalism, and in unity. He was at the helm during one of the most meaningful milestones in our union's history, the ratification of our first collective bargaining agreement. This was an achievement that the Local 4710 had, believe it or not, worked on for almost 10 years. And it came to fruition in part thanks to Greg's leadership, his collaborative spirit, and his deep respect for both the department and the people who serve it. He worked closely and constructively with both the union and the fire chief, helping to maintain trust, strengthen communication, and create a better future for our members and our volunteers. Greg has brought vision, passion, and intentionality to his role. He has led with integrity. He always keeps the mission in focus to support this community and the firefighters who protect it, and to ensure that our department continues to thrive, not just for today, but for generations to come. What has made Greg such a powerful advocate was not just his position on the board, but his personal connection to this place. He lives in this community. He understands what's at stake. And he poured that understanding into his work with heart and authenticity. Greg is a firefighter's firefighter. Someone who truly gets it, someone who truly gets us, someone who always has our backs, and someone who will never forget why this work matters. Greg, your legacy here is one of progress, of care, of compassion, of standing up for what's right. And we will always be grateful for your leadership, and we will always carry your example with us. As from all of your firefighters here at Elk Creek Fire. And we do have a thing to give you. Sadly, the thing is not done. In the meantime, we thought you could enjoy something else, so we're gonna do this. But we do have something very special from the local to give you, and it is being made. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. I appreciate Elk Creek Firefighters.
Well, I got something else, and Bethany's a much better speaker, so I'm just gonna roll with everything that she said. On behalf of the volunteer staff, the admin staff, everybody, thank you. So this is a, whatever. Thank you for everything.
Thank you all very much. This is, yeah. It's very humbling. I will take a point of personal privilege. It's just a little token of our department. I know I haven't gotten along with everybody, but I've had the best intentions. Chuck, you and I have not been in agreement. You know, I spoke of the things that I have issues with, but my intention has been from the time that I took an oath to commit to this community is to provide the greatest deal of protection to the community and to our firefighters. That was my goal. And I know there's people that don't appreciate the things that I've done and what I'm trying to do. The goal was for us as a community to come together, to have the best opportunity to protect ourselves from mayhem, injury, death. We might not be able to do it, but if we don't as a community come together and work for one common goal, and that's to ensure that we're going to have a brighter future tomorrow. That's all I ask. Whoever takes over this role, Chuck, Neil, I know we don't get along, but I ask you to help us as a community work towards what is best for this community. For my fellow firefighter friends, I can't say anything else other than I will always have your back. I do have a couple gifts for everyone, but only 6 arrived, which is unfortunate. But Chief Ware, Rogers, and Sherlaw, Director Woods, PIO Urban, and Ginny, would you all please come forward real quick? I have something made for you. and everyone will get one. I've already talked to those that I want, even those that are hiding are going to get one. But I'm overly confident that one day we will have a Conifer Fire Department that will ensure the best protection for this community. And with that, if it's not tomorrow, if it's after this stupid legal stuff, we are going to have a brighter and better and stronger fire department to protect this community. So to well, it's like the three wise men here. I made Conifer Fire Department coffee cups with the new logo.
Nice.
I was very proud of this.
Awesome.
My buddy Chief, you get that, Chen? My buddy Chief Rogers gave me just a little thing. So I will start with you, my dear. Start with the ladies. Thank you. You guys have been with me on all those meetings as we work towards Conifer Fire. Yeah. And I hope I'm the first, but I will have them for everyone. Yeah, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate the efforts that you guys have put into this, into putting this community, making it better. Sharon, I know we don't always agree either, but thank you.
You do most of the time.
Urban, thank you for your efforts. Chief, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And Jimmy, I know we've had some struggles, but I sure appreciate everything you're doing, and I'm so excited about our future.
Thank you.
Thank you, that's all I wanted to say. Without, again, I've got stuff for everybody, I do. With that, thank you for that point of personal privilege. I have enjoyed my 7 years here, and I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Adjournment at 6:38. Thank you all.